Hey, I'm June and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be ranking all the games I played in 2025 and I'm so excited to talk about everything. Yes, it's February 2026, so what? I just did not have time to sit down and record it this past month because it's been hell with university and I had so much going on in real life. But who cares? Let's move on to the exciting stuff. So I'll be ranking all the games I played into 4 separate tiers. Games that I did not finish, games that were cute but just an alright experience, games that I liked a lot, games that I loved, and of course that final tier is also going to include what I consider to be my game of the year. Alright, so these are games I did not finish for a reason or another, but I would like to revisit someday. First up, we have Jurassic World Evolution 2. I did not play the first one, and I got the second one on sale or something. It's your typical management simulator. You take care of dinosaurs. It's very inspired by Jurassic Park. That wasn't obvious. I was kind of new to some of the mechanics. Like, I did play some similar games akin to this, like Zoo Tycoon, but I found it to be very different. Or maybe it's been such a long time since I played Zoo Tycoon that I was very thrown off guard. Like, I was not expecting to have to take care of the dinosaurs like that. Like, I played Zoo Tycoon when I was like 8 years old, so maybe my memory is very wrong. But for some reason, Jurassic World Evolution 2 just did not capture my attention entirely. I remember I played like a couple hours of it, then I got bored. So, am I going to revisit this? I am not entirely sure, but I heard it's good actually. Like, I checked out the reviews and everybody loved it, so I'm not sure why it didn't click with me. But who knows? Maybe I'm going to play it again sometime this year. Who knows? And maybe then I'm going to like it a lot more than I did. Next, we have Roots of Patra. Now, this is a farming simulator akin to Stardew Valley, Coral Island, Story of Seasons, and so on. It offers a new take on the farming sim genre because it's set in the past. It's in the ancient era during the Stone Age, and all the game mechanics match that quite nicely. I think it's refreshing and I enjoyed it while I played it. You may ask again why I didn't finish it, but the real reason is that I was trying to record a playthrough series while playing it, and I had so many issues behind the scenes, and like my videos got corrupted, and that pissed me off so much, so it just made me stop playing this game entirely. I know I'm very petty for that, and I do wanna play this game again because I did enjoy the little I've played of it, so who knows. Next, we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, this is an incredible action-adventure open-world game. I don't really have anything to add to the conversation that has not been said before. I love Arthur Morgan, and I played this game for like 30 hours when university started last year, and my god, I was addicted to it so much. Like, I just loved exploring the open world. It's so beautiful, and I just love the aesthetics as well. Like, I love being a cowboy, personally speaking. But once again, life got in the way, and I think this is one of the few games that really deserves my full attention and devotion, so I should play it sometime when I'm not busy. I do wanna revisit this game sometime this summer, so stay tuned in for that, and maybe I'm going to make kind of like a vlog series, who knows. Like, I really wanna talk about this more because it's one of those games that I know I'm going to be like so in love after I finish it. Next, we have Disco Elysium. Now, this is a very, very, very dialogue-heavy RPG. One of my friends recommended me to play this because she knew I would like this game. Because I do like visual novels a lot, and I wouldn't call this game a visual novel, but like I said, it's very dialogue-heavy. There's a lot to read, and yeah, I did enjoy that. But again, life got in the way and I just stopped playing it. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad sometimes. Like, there are some great games that I play for like 10 hours then drop because I get distracted by something new. I know I have to be better with that. And I made it my mission to finish my backlog this year, so hopefully that goes well. Now, the story, honestly, it's really fun. Like, you play as a troubled detective with no memory of his identity or the world around him. He is kind of like Sherlock Holmes, and then he has this partner who is kind of like D. Watson, somewhat. And then he has to investigate a murder, and it's kind of fun. So yeah, I think it's definitely up my alley, and hopefully I'll get back to it sometime. Next, we have the 100 Line Defense Academy. Now, this is a tactical RPG and visual novel, which are two of my favorite genres actually. It's very similar to games like Danganronpa and Zero Escape, which makes sense since the creators of both series collaborated on this project. Now, in this game, the player controls a high school student named Takumi Sumino who lives in the underground Tokyo residential complex thing. It's a very interesting premise, I would say. When the complex is attacked by invaders, which are some kind of aliens, monster creatures kind of situation going on, Takumi fights back and he finds him eventually at the Last Defense Academy when he's taken there by this other alien creature thingy. And then you find out that school is like in a destroyed city and it's continuously under attack by the invaders I mentioned before. I was playing this game with a friend and unfortunately our schedules have not aligned in a while, so we have not gotten the chance to play this game again, but I love this game so far. Like, I really am enjoying it and hopefully I get to finish it this year. I'm a big fan of Darumi and Hirogo. So those were the games I did not finish. Now let's actually start talking about the games I did finish. First up, we have Chained Together. I was going to call this game Friends Lab, but I'm pretty sure this game is going to make you hate your friends. Like, it pissed me off so freaking much. Essentially, it's a 3D platformer where you're chained to the people you're playing with, and you have to collaborate together in order to climb up this tower in order to escape from what I'm assuming is hell. I think it's fun for the most part, but it can be definitely very, very frustrating at times. Personally, I played it with checkpoints, so that made experience more enjoyable and tolerable, and I think if I had to play it without checkpoints, then I would kill my friends, and I'm so serious about that. Now, we have Marvel Rivals. This is your just typical hero shooter. You can play as one of these several Marvel heroes that are in the game. There's like, I don't know, 30, 50, there's so many, it's crazy. I do like that it's a free game, unlike the first Overwatch. Yes, they did make Overwatch 2 free, I'm pretty sure, but I had to pay for the first one. Was it worth it? No. Well, with Marvel Rivals, I had fun with it, but unfortunately, my PC is not that good, so it took forever for me to be able to load in on a new map. But when I did play it, I made Luna Snow, Mantis, Star-Lord. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I would say this is like the first multiplayer shooter game that I've enjoyed since the golden days of Overwatch 1. Now, I do have a better PC, so I'm hoping to start playing Marvel Rivals again and see if I can get better at it. Now, I know this one is going to be very controversial because this is a very popular game, but I didn't love Date Everything, sadly. Now, this game takes place entirely within your home and you get these Dateviator glasses that transform the objects in your home into these anthropomorphized versions of themselves. I've struggled saying that word and I'm so sorry and I apologize for that. I've had fun with it, but as a fan of visual novels, I would say that part of me is so tired and bored of these self-proclaimed visual novel parody games. We've already had games like Dream Daddy, and I've like Date Everything prioritized quantity over quality. Also, maybe this is just me, but I kinda hated the dialogue at times. It came across as very corny millennial speech, I suppose. Like, it doesn't feel natural, it feels very aged. It was so cheesy and over the top, just not in a way that I would enjoy it, personally speaking. Now, I do not believe that everything is necessarily a shallow game in every aspect, because while I think it lacks the substance that I seek in a game like this, I think it's kind of fun still. I really love the character designs, but other than that, it just didn't click with me, sadly. Now it's time for the games that I actually liked and I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about, so let's get started. First up, we have Pico Park and Pico Park 2. I'm going to rank these two games together because they're pretty much the same. Both of these are cooperative puzzle games. You can play up with up to 8 people. And the goal of each stage is to get like a key and you have to unlock the door at the end of the stage level. It's a lot of chaos and the puzzle designs are quite clever. I played this with like 2 of my best friends and it was a blast. We were just screaming the entire time trying to figure out the solutions to the puzzles and everything. And in fact, let me show you some clips.
Never passing this level. No, let me go ahead.
Wow, thank you for going ahead.
Go.
Move.
Oh my god.
The screen's moving, the screen's moving.
Jump.
Jamie, get.
I'm trying!
Jump. Okay,
Okay, go!
okay. No. Wow.
Now we have Last Seen Online. This is a spooky game where you are essentially looking through somebody else's computer and you're trying to find out what happened to that person. There's a couple of puzzles, but I found them to be quite easy, and overall I thought the whole vibe was pretty charming. It's a pretty short game and you can definitely finish it within 1-2 hours, so I recommend it for sure. Now let's talk about MonsterCon. One of my good friends introduced me to this series and I've grown to like it a lot. I did play most entries in the series with her, but I think MonsterCon, which is like the 4th entry in the Monster Prom series, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys already know. It's kind of like a dating sim party game and it's a blast to play with your friends. The writing is very cheesy and over the top, but I found it to be pretty funny. And I also really like the romanceable characters of this entry. Shout out to Nico and April. Speaking of a dating sim, I found A Date with Death to be more kind of a traditional romance visual novel where you discover this strange app on your computer and this weird man starts texting you and he claims to be the Grim Reaper. Like, hello? My god, I played it because my friend was playing it and she was texting me about how fun it is and how in love she is with this character. And I was like, okay, I'm bored, so I might as well check it out. It's like a 2 hours, 3 hours game, I would say. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I know I finished it like in one night, so I had fun with it, and the romance itself was pretty sweet, so if you're in that kind of thing, then I would check it out for sure. I wouldn't say I necessarily love puzzle games, but I really enjoyed Gorogoa. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, do not quote me on that. I found the puzzle mechanics to be quite unique. That being said, I definitely have not played a lot of puzzle games, so there might be similar games, but I'm saying that I personally have not encountered anything like this. The art style was absolutely gorgeous, and you can really tell how much soul the art has, which I think is really important, especially nowadays when everybody and their mother is doing stuff with AI. It's so freaking annoying. As for the story, it was fine to tell. I found it to be a little bit confusing, but I think I liked it. So, Planet Zoo. Now this one was for the Zoo Tycoon fans. Sorta kinda. In fact, this is the last game I played last year and I'm glad I finished the year with such a fun game. You have to manage your zoo, create habitats, take care of your animals, make sure your guests are happy, and so on. I had a lot of fun with it and I think it's definitely the best zoo management games in Zoo Tycoon 2. Is it better than Zoo Tycoon 2? No. I think at first the gameplay loop is a bit overwhelming, but thankfully the game has a story mode of some sorts where you're able to learn every mechanic in order, and I think it does its job quite well. I would say that my main critique is that the building in this game is kind of garbage, and I found it to be very frustrating. Like, I think I would have more fun like downloading like a zoo from the internet or something. I think that's something you can do and then just put the animals that I like in that zoo, because when I tried building it was so confusing, it was so frustrating. Like, I expected something more akin to Sims 4. To be fair, the Sims building can be kind of annoying too if you don't know what you're doing, but you know, I found it to be so much easier than Planet Zoo. Now, Phasmophobia, it's your typical multiplayer horror games, but it can be also played just by yourself. I played it with my 2 friends and it was a lot of fun. You go into these buildings and you have to figure out the type of ghost that is haunting the area, and you have to use your ghost hunting equipment to figure that out. You gather evidence and then you have to guess what kind of ghost it was. When you leave the area, the ghost can also hunt you and chase you around, and frankly, so far I have died every single time it haunted me. I'm so bad at chases, but you know, it's fun. I really love hearing my friends to be spooked and scream and scared, so hopefully I can like force them to play more horror games this year. I'm pretty sure everybody loves this game and I really liked it too. This was actually my first roguelike game and I really enjoyed my experience with it. My first runs were so bad because I had no idea what I was doing, but eventually I got way better at it by trying new builds and so on. The writing is pretty good and it was pretty cool to see how it was tying gameplay mechanics to the story it was trying to tell. However, other than the gameplay loop, my favorite aspect was definitely the art style. It's absolutely gorgeous and the character designs are fantastic. No notes whatsoever. Looking forward to checking out Hades 2 someday. I was not sure what to expect from the Forgotten City, but this has to be the most visual novel coded adventure game I have ever played. I feel like a lot of people would hate this game because of how dialogue heavy it is, but as a Zero Escape fan, I love that shit. I don't really want to spoil what goes down here exactly, so all I'd say that it's a detective puzzle solving game of some sort. I found the story to be fun, although the dialogue aged a bit badly. But it didn't bother me a lot and I quite enjoyed the historical setting of the game as well. It is crazy to see that what started out as a Skyrim mod became a game of its own, and I think it's even funnier for me to play a Skyrim mod before Skyrim itself. Pick, well, this one is just pick. Dude, I love Friends Lab games so freaking much. So Pig is an online co-op climbing game similarly to Chained Together, however I had way more fun with Pig. I think the proximity chat is amazing. There have been so many moments where I could hear my friends falling off the mountain and I could hear their screams in the background and it was so freaking funny. I also appreciated that the maps are seeded daily, so it doesn't really feel boring to do each area over and over again. I also liked both new maps that they added since the beginning of the game, and I'm really excited to see what the devs do in the future. The expectations are now so freaking high. So, with Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, this is an action RPG set in the ancient kingdom of Bohemia, a state of the Holy Roman Empire, where you play as a peasant who learns how to become a knight. I found this game to be extremely immersive, and I adore the world building so much. The quests were a lot of fun to do, and I enjoyed the fact that they could be completed in like a lot of different ways. The character writing is enjoyable. I found the protagonist Henry to be very irritable, like, what a silly guy. However, my biggest gripe is the combat system. It's definitely very unique and super hard to master, and I found it to be very tedious when I was just dying over and over again. Eventually I did get better at it, but I think the sequel improved the combat greatly. That being said, this was a solid game, and I did play the sequel as well, so that remains to be ranked yet. Winky face. So, Danganronpa series is something definitely most people have heard of, and I feel like it's definitely the most controversial visual novel series out there. However, my friend had no idea what really goes down in Danganronpa. Outside of like a couple spoilers, I would say. So when she said she wanted to play the games for the first time, I was so ready to revisit the series as well. I find the premise of the games to be so freaking fun, like I love the murder mystery aspect so much. I think it's so much fun to try to figure out who the culprit is for each case, and sue me, but I think a lot of times the character writing is pretty fun too. When it comes to the first two games, I kind of rank them similarly, but I personally don't feel as connected to Trigger Happy Harvest cast as much as I do with the other two games, but I'll say the first game has the best atmosphere by far. When it comes to Goodbye Despair, I think the overarching mystery is definitely less intriguing than in Trigger Happy Havoc, and I wish the endgame was better, but I really liked how zany and over the top the cast was. Sure, the writing is weaker in comparison to the other two games, because the screen time for the cast is very lopsided, and I really dislike the survivors that they went for, but I'm realizing this is making me sound like I hate this game more than I dislike Trigger Happy Havoc, but I really don't. I just wish it was better. Honestly, I just think I have a lot of nostalgia for it, which is why I like it more than the first game. However, I'm really hoping that Danganronpa 2x2 fixes all of my issues with it. You've got this, Hiyoko and Mahiru. Bro, my standards for modern Pokemon games are kind of low, but the Legends series is generally fantastic. I loved Legends Arceus, and I'm so glad Legends ZA didn't let me down. I played this on the Switch too, so the game ran so well, and I had basically no performance issues whatsoever. Scarlet and Violet too. And the real-time based combat in this one was pretty fun as well. I think it's very interesting. At first, I was very wary of it because I enjoyed the traditional turn-based system of the main series, but I think the new combat system was really refreshing. It never felt too stale or repetitive, but I think it would be cool if they expanded on it in the future. Like, I feel like there's so much more they can do with it. Also, I wasn't really a big fan of X and Y coming into this, but I feel like Legends EA made me like Kalos a lot more for sure. The main story wasn't really my favorite. I feel like it could have been way more interesting, but thankfully all the characters introduced in this game were really fun, like Jason, Corbo, and even those of Team MZ. I really liked everybody, to be honest. Something I didn't really like that much was the fact the game only took place within Lumio City. I think they did their best trying to make each wild area feel different, but honestly, they still felt very same-ish. For the most part, I would say. And I think I wish there was more map variance like in Legends Arceus. I'm really curious to see what they do in Gen 10 games after this for sure. LOL. Now it's time for the games that I loved a lot. First things first, I have to admit, I am kind of a fake Resident Evil fan. I only have played a couple of them, while the rest I watch other YouTubers play. That being said, I made it my mission to play through each and every one of them finally. I really want to be less anxious and scared when I play horror games, and frankly, RE games are not super scary, so I thought that would be a good way to build up my tolerance. Alright, so Resident Evil 1 Remake is a staple of survival horror genre for a good reason. I freaking loved it. The Spencer Mansion is so fun to explore, the puzzles are challenging but super doable, and killing zombies is just fun. The aesthetic is so good, I adore the fixed camera angles, and even managing your inventory is kind of fun, but maybe I'm just nuts for that. I'm crazy. I could just be super biased toward this game, who knows. To be fair, I did play through Jiro's campaign, which means I had the extra inventory spaces, so I wasn't really struggling with that, to be honest. After I finished Jiro's route, I did start a knife-only run with Chris, which I didn't finish yet, but it was a lot of fun and I hope to revisit that someday. So, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. What can be said about this game that has not been said before? The premise captured my attention right away, and I loved the story that was being told. But I'm always going to be a sucker for themes of grief, inevitability, and having to move on forward in life regardless of what happens. The combat system was also pretty surprising, but in a good way. It's turn-based, yes, but the time-based dodges and parries were really refreshing and very rewarding when you became really good at it. I definitely had to lock in and not zone out as much as I do in other games. Is it a perfect game? No, but it's really good. Some inscription grabbed my attention almost immediately. This was the first card game I have ever really played, and within the first 10 minutes I was completely sold. The static of this grimy spooky cabin was so freaking cool, and I could tell right away there was something so off. I knew there was something more going on than just a card game, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised when I was proven right. Not gonna delve into spoilers in case you wanna check it out, but I love that it fully committed to the story it wanted to tell and how willing it was to make a really fun game that was like unlike anything I have played before. Very clever, very creepy, and honestly I walked out of it wishing I could have like erased my memory and play it again for the first time over and over again. Winky face. Praise be to Achua. This is probably my most controversial take as a Danganronpa fan, but V3 is just simply the best game in the trilogy. The cast is absolutely my favorite one. There are so many good characters like Kaede, Shuichi, Maki, Kaido, Kokichi. I just freaking love everybody, mostly. I think this one also has some of the best trials, especially the first one and the fifth one. And I think what really sets V3 apart from the other two games is how bored it gets with the ending. It definitely took a lot of risk, and I didn't really care if it made people uncomfortable or angry with it. However, I loved the ending, and honestly, it was a good solid conclusion to the series. Until 2x2 was announced, though 3x3 won. Now, this final game is what I consider to be my game of the year. We freaking love you, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Not in a million years will I have ever seen this one coming, especially because I did not hear of this series until this game came out. And there was this whole controversy that it was too woke or whatever, but it really surprised me in the best ways possible. To enjoy the story as best as I could, I played the first one and then this one. And I found it to be such a clear improvement over the first game while still sticking to what made it unique. The world felt more alive than ever, a lot of the side quests were pretty funny, and overall the writing was generally great. He took that generic you play as a hero story and beat up the baddies and kind of elevated it, I would say. While I don't think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has the most interesting gameplay of all time, I think the interactions and the dialogue with NPC is really where the game shines a lot, and it makes a lot of the fetch quests really tolerable. The combat was also less frustrating than it was in the first one, but still challenging enough. There's still some jank here and there, but it's not enough to ruin the experience, and overall it's a much more polished experience than the first game. Also, I'll be self-indulgent for a quick moment and say that I really enjoyed the Hans romance, and the slow burn between him and Henry was iconic to witness. Well, this was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to make more videos similar to this, where I talk about games or media that I have consumed, then let me know. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys sometime soon, and yeah, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would like to know what you guys have played last year, and if you have any recommendations, please let me know. This was June, and good freaking bye.